Hey everyone, welcome to The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever think you know the truth, only to find out you've been living a lie the whole time? That's exactly what happened the night everything fell apart. Bill was ready to kill Luna, Katie was begging him not to, and upstairs Electra was crying her heart out after learning Will had betrayed her. But the real shock came at Il Giardino, when Deke looked his father in the eye and said the words no one expected. Dad, Luna's not dead. I saw her. She's alive. From that moment on, nothing in our family would ever be the same again. I don't even know where to begin, because when I think back on that night, it still feels like a punch to the gut. Like someone ripped my chest wide open and left me bleeding in the middle of the floor. Everything about it felt surreal, almost like I was watching someone else's life spiral out of control. But it wasn't, it was mine. It all started at the Spencer mansion. You know how sometimes you can feel tension in the air, even before words are spoken? That's what it was like. Luna was buzzing around like a child on a sugar rush, talking a mile a minute about how she couldn't wait for Will to finally break Electra's heart. She said it with this gleeful little grin, like someone who had already won a game the rest of us didn't even know we were playing. Bill. Oh man, Bill was barely holding it together. You could see the veins in his neck throbbing, his patience hanging by the thinnest thread. Finally, he snapped. "Get out of my face, Luna," he shouted. For a moment, the room went silent, like even the walls were stunned. Luna just blinked, then gave this sly smile and walked away like she'd gotten what she wanted all along. And in a way, maybe she had. Upstairs, Electra had retreated to her room. She thought she was alone, but I caught a glimpse of her before she shut the door. She was rubbing her stomach, whispering to herself. There was this strange glow in her eyes, like she was holding on to a secret that was bigger than her. It wasn't the glow of a woman in love, it was something else. Something darker. She kept muttering about how wonderful it was that Will was crushing Electra's heart at that very moment. It sent chills through me, even though I wasn't supposed to hear it. Downstairs, Bill was pacing the living room like a man who had just discovered his house was on fire. Katie tried to calm him, but Bill wasn't listening. "I'm gonna kill Luna," he said. His voice was low, raw, like he meant every syllable. Katie grabbed his arm, her face pale with panic. "Bill, you can't go to prison for murder. Think about Will. Think about the family." But Bill couldn't think. All he could see was Luna's smirk, the chaos she'd stirred up. He kept saying he couldn't let her ruin Will's life. Katie's voice cracked as she reminded him. "She might be carrying his child, Bill. Do you understand that? His child." That broke something in him. I saw his shoulders slump, his face twist in pain. "I can't let my son have a baby with a psycho," he whispered, almost choking on the words. His eyes filled with tears, and for once, the great Bill Spencer, the man who always seemed untouchable, looked small. Broken. Katie held him like she was holding a drowning man, trying to keep him afloat. She promised him that if the baby turned out to be Will's, they'd take it. They'd raise it as a Spencer. "We'll get through this," she whispered. "As a family. As a Spencer family." And for a moment, just a brief, fragile moment, Bill let himself believe her. But while all of that was happening, another storm was brewing elsewhere. At Il Giardino, Deacon was showing his son Deke around. Deacon was proud, you could tell. Proud to have his boy there, proud to show him the restaurant that was his pride and joy. He told Deke it would all be his one day. But Deke had other dreams. He didn't want the restaurant. He wanted Forrester. He wanted to be a designer. Deacon tried to encourage him, saying he'd talk to Hope, maybe even Brooke, to help open the door. But then Deke said something that would change everything. Something that still makes my skin crawl when I replay it. They were standing near the memorial wall, photos of Hollis, Tom, all the lives that had been lost, all the grief etched into that restaurant. Deacon's voice was heavy with bitterness when he said, Luna did all this damage. She killed my best friends. I'm just glad she's dead. But Deke turned to him, his face pale, his eyes wide with something like disbelief. Dad, she's not dead. Deacon froze, like someone had slapped him. What are you talking about? I saw her, Deke insisted. His voice didn't waver. Not a ghost. Not a memory. Luna. Alive. I saw her with my own eyes. Deacon's face drained of color. He shook his head, muttering that it wasn't possible, that Deke had to be mistaken. But Deke wouldn't back down. I'm surprised you and Sheila didn't already know. It was like the world tilted in that moment. And as if the universe wanted to twist the knife even deeper, Sheila herself was there, watching from the shadows. She remembered all the times Deacon had begged her for honesty, had warned her that secrets would destroy them. And right then, she knew she had to come clean. She walked out, smiling like nothing was wrong, hugging Deke, greeting him warmly. But Deacon wasn't in the mood. He pulled her aside, his voice trembling with rage. Did you know? He demanded. Did you know Luna's alive? Sheila tried to dance around it, but finally, reluctantly, she admitted the truth. And when she did, Deacon's roar shook the walls. Meanwhile, at the guest house, Electra's world was crumbling in its own way. She'd just learned that Will, the man she thought she could finally trust, had slept with someone else. Not just someone else. Luna. Her voice cracked as she repeated it again and again, like saying it out loud might make it less real. The night before us. The night before we first slept together. You were with her. Will's face was pale, haunted. He kept saying he was drunk, that he didn't know what he was doing, that it was a mistake. But the words fell flat. Nothing could erase the image from Electra's mind. Nothing could erase the betrayal. The moment Will said Luna's name, Electra's entire body seemed to go cold. She described it later like someone had pulled the floor out from under her, and she was free-falling with no hope of landing safely. Her lips trembled, her hands shaking so hard she had to grip the edge of the couch just to stay upright. You slept with Luna, she repeated, as if saying it out loud might change the reality of it. Will reached for her, but she flinched away like his touch burned. His voice cracked. Electra, please. It wasn't what you think. I was drunk, I was confused. I thought it was you. She let out this broken laugh, one that sounded more like a sob strangled halfway out. You thought it was me? Do you even realize how insane that sounds? You were inside another woman, Will. And you're telling me you thought it was me? Will's eyes brimmed with tears. He looked younger than he ever had, like a boy who'd just been caught doing something terrible and didn't know how to fix it. She set me up, he said. Luna drugged me. She made it happen. I swear to you, I never wanted this. I love you, Electra. I only love you. But Electra couldn't hear that right then. Her mind was a storm. Every promise he'd ever made to her echoed inside her head, now twisted into something cruel. Every late-night conversation, every kiss, every whispered vow, they all felt tainted. She turned away, her voice shaking. You could have stopped it. Even if she came on to you, even if she drugged you, you could have fought it. You could have told me the next day. Instead, you slept with me like nothing happened. You looked me in the eyes, Will, and you lied. Will collapsed onto his knees in front of her. His hands clutched at hers, desperate. I didn't lie. I didn't know how to tell you. I was terrified of losing you. Electra, you have to believe me. You're the only thing in my life that makes sense. Please don't give up on us. But she pulled her hands back, pressing them against her chest like armor. Tears streamed down her cheeks, her voice hollow. You already gave up on us, Will. The second you let her touch you, you gave up on us. There was a silence then, thick and unbearable. Electra's breathing was ragged, her chest heaving, while Will sobbed openly on the floor. And somewhere, in another part of town, Luna was smirking. Because for Luna, this was never about love. It was about power. About control. About destruction. She thrived on chaos, on watching other people's worlds crumble while she walked away unscathed. To her, Electra's tears were proof of victory. Meanwhile, back at Bill Spencer's mansion, the tension was no less explosive. Bill was pacing like a caged animal, his fists clenched, his face red with fury. "She ruined my son," he growled, his voice shaking with barely contained rage. "She drugged him. She manipulated him. And now she's carrying his child? Over my dead body." Katie stood in the doorway, arms folded tight across her chest. She'd seen Bill like this before, volatile, destructive, the kind of man who would burn the world down just to avenge someone he loved. And while she understood his fury, she also knew where it could lead. "Bill, listen to me," she said firmly, her voice calm but unyielding. "No one is killing anyone. You hear me? That is not an option." Bill spun on her, his eyes wild. "You think I'm just going to stand here and let that viper destroy my son's life? Let her raise a Spencer baby? I won't do it, Katie. I can't." Katie took a step closer, softening her tone but not her resolve. "Then we fight her the right way. We take her to court. We get custody of that baby if it's Will's. We protect him without turning you into a murderer." Bill's chest rose and fell rapidly, his breathing uneven. He looked like he was seconds away from shattering. But Katie reached out, resting her hand against his arm, grounding him. "You've always blamed yourself for the mistakes your sons make," she whispered. "But this isn't your fault. Will is hurting, yes, but he needs his father alive, not behind bars. You want to protect him? Then stand strong. Be the man he can lean on, not the man who explodes and leaves him even more broken." Bill's face crumpled then, the fury draining out of him, leaving only anguish. He sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. His voice cracked when he spoke. "I don't know how to fix this, Katie. I don't know how to make it right." Katie sat beside him, slipping her hand into his. "We'll fix it together. We'll protect Will. We'll protect that baby, if it's his. You're not alone in this, Bill. You've got me. You've got your family. That's what matters now." And for the first time that night, Bill broke. He wept, deep, guttural sobs that shook his entire body. And Katie held him, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep but knew he needed to hear. "The Spencers," she murmured against his ear. "We'll get through this. We'll survive. We always do." But even as those words left her lips miles away, Deacon Sharp was staring into the eyes of his wife, demanding answers she wasn't ready to give. "Tell me the truth, Sheila," he growled. "How long have you known Luna's alive?" Sheila's hands trembled, her lips quivering. She looked at him like a cornered animal. "Deacon, I didn't want to hurt you. I thought I could protect you. I thought. Protect me." Deacon's voice boomed, raw and furious. "You've been lying to me every single day, while that monster walked free, destroying lives? Do you have any idea what this does to me? To Deke? To everyone?" Sheila tried to reach for him, but he stepped back, his eyes blazing. For the first time in their marriage, she saw something in him that terrified her. Not love, not forgiveness, but a line she might not be able to come back from.